Hello, beautiful ladies. Welcome to the Business Hot Seat with Dr. Naomi Lewis, and I have Mrs. Afe joining me today, and I'll bring her up in about 2 minutes. But first of all, I just want to thank everyone who's joining in today on this show, and also to remind you that the reason why we're doing what we're doing is to give everyone an opportunity to be led, mentored by women who are successful in business, women who are successful in their career, just to make things a bit easy. I mean, if you have people to show you the way up, why should you struggle? That's the essence of the entire show, the entire Complete Woman brand. So I'd like to thank you again for joining. If you have friends that you would like to watch what we're doing and learn from what we're talking about today, please send them the link, the YouTube link, and let them subscribe and get on board. So, without wasting further time, I would like to bring in my guest now. Hello.
Hi Naomi, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? How are
I'm
you?
well, thank you.
That's
Very
great. Good
well.
to have you. It's great to have you here. Looking
It's
beautiful,
nice to be here.
smiling. I guess
Thank
the
you.
weather is great in Nigeria.
It is. It is.
Yeah, and I have
It
a couple
is.
of people joining in, and they'll be with us
Okay.
shortly. We can get
Right.
started anyway. I believe they're gonna come on when when they're ready. But yes, so I would like to start off with you introducing yourself. So can you tell our audience your name and your profession?
Right. All right. Okay. My name is Efe Fagbeja. I do right now I wear two caps. I'm a professional jewelry designer and I'm also a coach for women. I coach in self-discovery and personal fulfillment. Um, is that okay, or do you want me to talk about the past, what I've done in the past?
Yeah, sure. You could include that. So have you been in a career before, or as far as your business, have you been in a career before? And if you have been, then
Okay.
what?
Before I became a jewelry designer, I used to work with MTN. Yes. Yeah.
Can you repeat that? I could not hear what you were saying.
Right. Before I started my jewelry business, before I became and supply chain in charge of making sure that all the products got round the country. I worked there for 5 years before I resigned. Nine, and it was a great job. I enjoyed it immensely. I got into that career kind of by mistake. If you know, my personal brand is called Design.
Okay.
Okay, are you there with me,
Yes, yes.
Doc?
Yeah. We're having a bit of a network issue.
Are you there
So
with me, Doc? Right.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But I
Okay.
think
I think
most
I think
yeah.
back on. Okay. Okay. I said my personal brand is called the Designer by Accident, and it's called that for a reason. A lot of things that I've done in my past, I kind of stumbled into them, but it was kind of like by design. So I got into logistics and supply chain a bit, it wasn't planned. I'd always
Mhm.
wanted to be an HR specialist and all that. And when I did my master's degree in London, when I did my master's degree, I specialized but while I was doing that degree, I was also working, and I got a job in a warehouse, and I was, learning the ropes of supply chain without even planning to. Because of my work ethic, I got around the warehouse a lot. It was a temporary job, but I did a lot of stuff. I learned so much on the job. What wasn't a job I particularly enjoyed, but I did it anyway, and I gave it my best, my resume as what I had done. And they were looking for a supply chain specialist in MTN. So, based on the work I had done, they thought I would fit the role. I interviewed for the role and I got the job. So I worked there for 5 years. It was something I absolutely enjoyed doing. It was very strategic. It was very, it required a lot of planning, a lot of thinking, and it was very strategic to the organization. So it was something I absolutely enjoyed doing. And while I was there, I was doing very well. I was flying high. I was winning awards. I did a lot there, but something was not all right with me, and that was that something wasn't adding up. I wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't quite fulfilled. I just felt like I wouldn't want to. I was about 30 at the time I resigned, and I was saying, done with my life, go to work, come back and earn money. My kids are there. I want to be involved in their lives. I want to be involved, in a lot of other things, to do with life. And so it wasn't because I didn't leave because I was having challenges. It wasn't even so stressful that I couldn't get back home on time. I used to get home by 6, leave home 7:30, get home by 6. It wasn't so stressful, but there was more I wanted to do with my time and my life. So I resigned after 5 years of working, and I resigned. I did a business that I didn't quite enjoy, but I just did it, and it wasn't working out. So I dropped it. And then in 2011, I picked up my jewelry business, which was something I'd actually enjoyed doing from when I was a kid. I used to try and string shells or whatever I could lay my hands on to make jewelry. So I picked that up. I had done some professional courses, and I picked that up in 2011. In January as the year started, and I started doing that, and I've been doing that until now. I've been doing that all along until now. It's something I absolutely enjoy doing. I love it. I'm passionate about it. And then I'm also a life coach for women. I've been doing that all through my work and career and everything. I've been coaching women on the side. I want to help women, achieve don't want anybody at 40 or 50 or 60 and realize that they could have done more with their lives. I want them to start achieving their best lives from now. So that's about what I do.
That's amazing. So from what you said, I will just give a brief summary because of those who are just joining in. You said that you have been a distribution specialist with MTN.
Yeah.
And you also got into your jewelry designer, and you studied abroad. Was it your master's you did, or was it a bachelor's degree you did at the time when you were in London?
My master's. My master's.
Okay,
yes, it was my master's in international business. My first degree was in Nigeria.
Are you kidding me? That's awesome. International business. That is what I did for my master's as well. That's awesome. So we are even more alike that we know. Oh, well, I think having some net. Okay, you're back now. Yeah, we're even more alike than we realized. Yeah. So so just like what you said, she's done. She's worked with MTN for about 5 years as a distribution specialist. She's also a jewelry designer. She's a mom. She's married, and she's very passionate about what she does. So we'll just move forward quickly to the next question. So at what point did you decide that you wanted to become a distribution specialist? Was it something you carved a way out for yourself? When you came back to Nigeria, I understand that you did have some level of experience abroad, that that opportunity presented itself. But was it something that you wanted to pursue at that time, or was it something you just said, the opportunity is there, let me just embrace this? What was it for you?
Okay, let me tell you a funny story. So when I got back to Nigeria and I was job hunting, and dropping CVs in different places and all that, somebody sent me to see the HR executive in MTN. And when I got to him, he looked at my CV and said, "Oh, you've got experience in warehousing and distribution. I'm going to send you to our warehouse." And because of how much I hated the job in London, I really didn't like the job, but I did it anyway, and I put in my best. Now, my thinking was, oh, since I'm talking to the HR exec, when I talk to him, we'll have a chat and I'll tell him how much I love HR, and
Yeah.
I'll talk to him about all that. But he didn't even. The network is kind of crappy this morning. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
yeah.
So I was saying that, he didn't even give me a minute to talk. He just says, this is what I'm going to do. And I was there, I was just standing, and I didn't have anything to say. And he says, okay, I'm rushing for a meeting. See you. So he calls his PA and says, set out for a meeting with the senior manager in the warehouse. And I'm like, oh my God. I got back to my car downstairs and I sat there and I cried for like 20 minutes because I'm like, what kind of rubbish is this? I hated this job. Why is it coloring my CV? Why am I getting this? And, I cried. I really cried. The security guys were coming to ask me that, Madam, are you all right? And I'm like, just give me time, and I'm sitting there crying because I couldn't imagine that I was going to be working in warehousing. But I did the interview with the guy. He really liked me. He asked me a lot of questions. I didn't even realize that I knew so much about it. About it, that I was that involved in logistics, because it wasn't a field I'd ever given attention to at all. It was just a job I got, but I'd learned so much about it. I got the job and I found out that the warehouse here was kind of different. It was much smaller. It wasn't as untidy. There were a lot more things, and I was in a completely different role, from what I was doing there. But it turned out to be one of the best decisions I'd taken because I loved the job. I enjoyed it. It was everything that I wanted in a career. It was strategic. It was back office. I didn't really want a customer facing role. It was back office. It was back office and support, but it was extremely strategic. It helped me to put all my training in strategy and business and all that into play. And I found it a fantastic career, and I would gladly go back into it.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you said now you are a jewelry maker, so a jewelry designer. So that's what you do now for business. That's your core business. So how did you handle the transitioning from having a career as a distribution specialist? You said you really, really love the job. So I think you did mention earlier that you were not fulfilled doing the job, even though it was something you loved, even though you were going there every day, you gave it your best.
If I had to.
Yeah. So how did you manage transitioning? How did you handle the transition?
I'm really sorry about this.
Yeah, no problem.
Sorry?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I said now you said you loved the job. Okay, you had a wonderful experience working with MTN, but at some point in your life, you didn't feel like you were fulfilled, you didn't feel satisfied. So how did you transition from doing that job to getting into your business? How did you handle that? Because of course, many people know that when you get into a business, the first 3 years or first 2 years, you may not make as much income as you want, and there'll be discouragement along the way. But how did you make that hard decision to say, I know that I'm working with MTN, I get home at a good time, I have time for my family, I'm not super stressed, I get good income. Why would you leave that and then transition into a business? Because I think I saw a post somewhere, someone said, before you leave your job, you have to make sure that you earn twice as much from your business to leave your job. So if that is the rule, what made you take that giant leap?
Okay. I left, like I said, before, I loved the job. Everything was working out. For 2 years in a row, I was staff of the year. I won awards, was rewarded with a lot of money. I was getting recognized by the management, top management. In fact, after I resigned, during my resignation period, the exec of my unit came down, and he came to our office and he saw me and he said, "Oh, I hear you are leaving us. Why? Is it more money? Is it this? Is it that? And the normal thing would be to say, yes, pay me more money and I will stay. But I knew it wasn't true. It wasn't about money. I was earning fairly well. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about anything that the job couldn't offer me. It was just, I believe that there's this point that we reach as women that I like to call the move up or move out point. At that time, now, if you know anything about logistics, it's a men's role. It's more of a men's industry. So there are a lot of men in it. In the unit of 25 people, we're only 2 ladies. One was an administrator, and I was the only one, that was in like a critical role. So on weekends, for instance, sometimes when we're under pressure, we'll have to work weekends, and I'll be there telling my boss, Oga, I'm a woman. I can't. This is the only time I have to like be there for to do stuff at home. I can't come to work, but I'm there on phone calls. I'm just a phone call away. And if I need to come in, I'm a heart. I'll do whatever needs to be done. So I'm there supervising, doing everything that needs to be done. Sometimes I'm coming home from church on a Sunday, and my husband will drop me at the office.
We can't hear you clearly. Can't really hear you clearly. The network is really.
And I want to be more in hands on me. Wow! And I can hear you so clearly, and I can see so clearly. Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Not really. No, not really. I don't know why it's.
Wow.
I don't know why it's like this.
Any better?
Yeah, but yeah. It just keeps going off and on, and it's really, really, really bad. Let's see. Do you want to check your network? Probably, maybe. Okay, so if it's going to be back very soon, I do apologize for the network issues. I hope you guys are learning something. Please, if you have any questions at all, please, the line is breaking. Yes, Opeyemi, I see that I don't know what exactly is going on with our network at the moment. But if you do have any questions regarding what you've heard so far, please send in your questions. So from what she said she's been a distribution specialist at MTN. And she's worked there for 5 years. So if probably you want to get a job at MTN, is a perfect opportunity for you to ask a question about what's the best way to get into that company, what's the best way to apply for a job. These are the sort of questions you want to ask. You may not maybe necessarily need the opportunity, but someone else close to you may need that answer. So please send in your questions, or you can send in comments. All right. I'm going to try our best to go over some of the questions when the network gets stronger. Then also, I think she did mention that she's a jewelry designer. So that's what she does as a business. So the question we are asking at this point is, how did she manage to transition from her career to doing a business? What made her take that giant leap? And that's what Ife is talking about right now. So send in your questions if you have any. I'm going to bring that back up now.
Sorry about the network. Thank you. So sorry about the network. I don't know why it's not cooperating with me today. All right. So I was saying that, I just realized that I'm going to have to take a decision. I didn't want to be a mom that, my house help will be telling me what's happening with my kids, or I won't see them, stuff like that. So I had to decide, do I really want to move up, or is it time for me to move out? And I believe that that's a phase that many women reach when you're working. At some point, you're going to have to take that decision. So I decided that I think it's time for me to move out. My kids were young. I think my first was about 3, and my second was just going to turn 1 at the time. So I decided that it was time to move out. I didn't have a grand plan because my being on the job hadn't afforded me the opportunity to do a lot of the kind of training I wanted to do for my jewelry. I had done some courses with GIA, that's the Gemological Institute of America, the ones I could do online and all that. But the real course I wanted to do was going to be a face-to-face class, and it would require me leaving the country, and I couldn't, spare that time from work. But I said, you know what, when I get there, I will figure it out. So I did. And the first thing I did was say, okay, let me try a business, that will raise me some more money and all that. And I tried that for a year, but it wasn't working. So I quit. And then in 2011, I just decided to, go into it. And my plan at the time, again, was that, okay, I just need a business that will pay my bills, buy me, my basic needs, stuff like that, while my husband takes care of the family and all that. But so that was why I started the business. I didn't have a whole big business plan out or anything, because I felt like I didn't have the skills I wanted to. I would need to start a very well-structured business. So I just started from my sitting room, literally with about 4,000 naira, along with the other materials I'd had over the years. And I started. Within a month, somebody was saying, oh, you should be taking your stuff to exhibitions. So I registered for an exhibition, a monthly exhibition, and they were asking me for a brand name. So I chose the brand name that I use, which is Ishura. I chose it. And then I hadn't registered. After some time, it was like, oh, if you become too big and, nobody, and you've not registered your business, somebody will steal your brand name. Exactly. So I went and registered the name. So I kind of just, stumbled into everything. And then I started attending entrepreneurship classes, because I realized that having a business degree is different from running a business, no matter how small.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I started attending entrepreneurship classes, and that was the time when the government was starting to open up to entrepreneurship a little. There were a lot of classes going on and all that. So I joined some of those classes, and little by little I grew. And I grew to the point where I was invited by a multinational to handle vocational training and entrepreneurship training by their for their, as part of their CSR. So I did that in 2017. I did that in 2018. So it was when I was doing that I realized how much I had grown this business. It wasn't even, from starting with 4,000 naira in my sitting room to being recognized and getting a multinational company. It was really a big deal for me. So that was when I started to recognize that, okay, I must be doing something right. And, I've just continued like that.
That's an amazing achievement, I must say. That's a very, very amazing achievement. So what I would like to ask now, for those, I know you're not working with MTN again, but I'm sure that there's some insights that you can share with our audience today. So if someone is saying MTN is a very big company and they do have a lot of career positions, and I know that while I was in Nigeria, it was difficult to get a job at MTN. I think you needed to know someone at that point. I don't know if things are a bit different now, but what sort of advice would you give? Because that's the key essence of we do what we're doing. Someone says, I want to apply for a job at MTN. What advice would you give? How should they approach it? How should they write their CV? What tips should they apply to ensure that at least it makes it a bit easier to get into that organization?
One thing the way MTN was when I got in, MTN employs specialists. There's no path to, like, it's not like the kind of company that employs entry level and then they say, okay, we'll help you grow. You grow through the ranks and rise. No, MTN employs specialists. So you have to kind of know what you're doing well, and then you're likely to get taken. Now, you may get taken at different levels. So if you are very experienced, you could be taken as a manager. If they're looking for a senior manager, you have to have the years of experience, to be able to say, yes, I deserve the role of a senior manager. And if you have basic skills and you are good at what you do but not very experienced, they could take you in at level 1 or entry level. So it depends on your experience. MTN does not have, it's not one of those multinationals that does what do they call it, management trainee. They don't have a management trainee role. I don't know if they have it now, but as at that time, they didn't have anything like that where they will employ you as a graduate and take you through the ranks. So if you're getting into MTN, know that you are a specialist as you are coming in. They're employing you as a specialist. You must be good at the thing that you say you do. So if you're good at one particular thing, you focus on that thing, be good at it, get the relevant experience, and then you can look at a certain department. So the departments kind of run in silos. Your salary is dependent on what roles within that department are paid, and stuff like that. So it's kind of that kind of organization, and you may be on the same role for years without getting a promotion, because there's nothing like, it's a very flat structured organization. There's no such thing like promotions from this year you become this. No, it doesn't work like that. You could be on the same role for many years, but your role could be expanding, but you are still on the same job title, and your salary could be increased. You'll be earning more, but you're not changing your job title. So it's a kind of a flat structured organization that is run in silos. So you need to be a specialist.
Okay, so yeah. Okay, thank you so much. So for someone who, I believe that they do have roles for customer service assistants or customer service personnel, or for someone you can say that there are more specialist roles, what would you advise someone to do? So if someone says, I want to go into, what's the lowest entry level? If we say the customer specialist, would you say, okay, go for a course? How would you advise someone to proceed to get an experience if they are only employing people who know exactly what they want to do?
I would advise, if you go for a course, if you want to enter entry level, be well versed in what you want to do. If you want to go for customer service, have some courses, have some so if you maybe like online courses, stuff like that can back up what you've done. And I've also realized over the years that volunteering is an excellent way to gain experience. So instead of saying, no, I don't have experience, go, even if it's a business center, go there and say, you know what, let me work here for free for a while. That way you can say, you know what, I have 6 months experience in this place in customer service, and something like that. So
yeah, you know what, it's amazing when you say that, because I was going to ask that question next and say, what would you advise? Would you advise someone to go to an organization and volunteer to get that experience? But that is one thing that most Nigerians don't embrace. They keep saying, oh, I don't have a job. I want to wait till when I get an experience. I want to wait till when someone will give me the open door. No, sometimes the open door will not just come. You have to force the door open. One of the most amazing staff I have, and I believe she's watching right now, she's volunteering at the moment. And we got connected through I did a mentoring session. So I sold one of my books and had one-on-one session with everyone, and everyone had, I want to start a business and this, I want to do that. And she said, I don't want to start a business. I almost did not even want to show up for the session, because I felt like everyone coming back to give feedback in the coaching group was saying, oh, the session with Dr. Naomi was so amazing. I had a mind shift, and she's like, oh my God, what am I going to say? I don't want to start a business. So, but because of the reviews that were coming back, she said, let me just attend anyway. I will just tell her I don't know what I want to do. And then we had a conversation, and she told me, oh, I did a little training on data entry. And at the time, while we were talking together, I needed someone for my company, because I was running a lot of things, and I said I needed someone to just help me organize this and do that. So when we were having a coaching session, I was like, should I ask her? Maybe she wants to volunteer. So I advised her, maybe you could start by volunteering. And all. She's like, okay, she received the advice really well, but I felt moved that I need someone. Why not give her the opportunity? And that's how she started volunteering for me. And I tell you one thing, she's grown so much, and she's constantly blowing my mind. Like, her skills have improved greatly, and she's even seeing how fast she's going, and I'm doing the training, and it's amazing having the opportunity. So just like what you said, you have to position yourself in a very smart way. You have to go for what you want. You just sit there and say, oh, I don't want to, what we're talking about, transitioning from career to business. The same thing happened to me, not really similar, but then I had to leave my job because I had a lot of clients coming in. My company is growing really, really fast. The Complete Woman brand is going really, really fast, and there's so much demand for my time. I say, no, I can't give this job anymore. I was doing a job part-time, working, some late shifts in admin, and I say, no, I want to stop this because I come back, I don't sleep. I'm coming back on Sunday night from my work, and then Monday morning, someone is beeping me. I have to do school run, client messages, emails. I'm like, no, if I don't pause, I'm going to crash. I need to focus all that energy into my business, and my business is growing. So, like you said, everyone gets to that point when you make that decision. But before you get to that point, you have to realize that hard work is very, very necessary. Like, we were chatting today. We're chatting. Was it this morning? We're chatting very late this morning. Was it at past midnight, I think? And you were like, "Oh, are you still up?" I'm like, "Yeah, you are still up." I'm like, "Yeah, we have kids, but we are night owls. We work at night. We wake up. So that's the time to actually focus." And would you believe that I stayed up to 4:30 in the morning from to bed, and I was up at 7 because I know I had to do staff training for my staff. Please have to do that, contact this, and not prepare for the interview.
Wow.
Yeah, we are used to not sleeping. So I was saying to you, people say, "Oh, doctors recommend sleep for 8 hours." We just laugh at them because it's not possible for you to have sleep and be able to sleep. So, so back to what we're saying, guys, ensure that you take the opportunity to volunteer. If just look for an organization, it may not even be related, but if you have like a particular job role you want to go for, check. You start building yourself slowly to that point. You're going to get. Well, you have to develop your CV. There are a lot of places that you can volunteer. As long as the registered company, they have the registration documents, everything, they are certified to trade in Nigeria or wherever you're working from, then they can definitely give you a reference. They can definitely give you a reference. Yeah, so I don't know if you have anything else to add to that before I move on to the next question.
I think I've spoken. I've loved the. Yes, I can. I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me too?
What did you say? I didn't get that.
I said I can hear you clearly. I was saying that I think I've spoken a lot about the about that. Yeah, so that's fine.
Okay. So the next question I'm going to ask you. So what was your greatest challenge or your toughest challenge as a woman in business, a woman in career, being a woman? Because I believe that life is different. I always say for women than for men. Things happen differently for them that way. So as a woman, what was your greatest challenge and how did you overcome, or are you still trying to deal with that challenge?
Okay, so my life is full of stories, and I'm sure in talking about this, I'm going to tell you a bit of my story as well. I'm a very driven woman. I'm highly independent, highly motivated, and all that. And leaving my job and deciding to run my own business, what it has done for me over the years is that it has lessened the amount of money in my hands. And I'm having to deal with that. That's a major thing, for me to deal with, because I'm not the kind of person who is used to asking for money, having to rely on my husband and all that. And I've been married for 16 years and still, it will be 16 years in December, and still I'm dealing with that. So I know that it has more to do with my personality. And so but in my head, I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm going to do this for a while. I need my kids, to get to an independent level where if I need to travel, if I need to, they can at least take care of themselves. I'm sure that no house help is going to ill-treat them and, stuff like that. I know that basically they can hold their own. And so I was looking forward to that time. And in 2017, my younger one, I had 2 kids. The younger one was going to turn 9 in that year. And then guess what? I found out I was pregnant.
Oh, wow.
And that was not, I mean, I both said everywhere that I'm done. My mother-in-law had tried to say, or my parents, my mother-in-law, they had tried to say, have one more. And I'm like, no, I'm done. I want to chase my career. I want to do my own thing, this, that. And then I found out I was pregnant. I just told myself, what, you're learning, God, I motivated myself, and I'm like, what, make the best of it. You do this. And I went on, I had my baby and I was taking her everywhere with me, and I was doing what I needed to do. And I had friends and people to support me around me. And I was doing all that. I had staff, people that, were basically supporting me. And then she was born in 2018. And then, in January, and then in December of that year I got a scholarship, to go to come to London to do a course with the Gemological Institute of America again. So in October of that year, I left to do the training, and I found out that I was pregnant yet again.
Oh
I'm
my
serious. It happened
God.
twice.
Oh my
Now
God.
I was depressed. I was depressed. For the 3 months that I spent in London, I was depressed. I would cry. I would just leave the class, go and sit in the toilet and just cry because I'm like, Lord, this is not fair. This is not, it's not fair. I was like, what? From 2 kids to 4, I didn't plan my life like this. And I'm in my 40s. I don't like it. I would cry. I was blaming God. And I'm like, it's not fair and all that. But as that was happening, and in fact, I have to tell you, I actually thought of, before telling my husband, before telling anybody, let me go and take it out while I was in London. But I thought of something. I thought of the number of people I had counseled over the years, kind of people I had counseled to. I don't believe in abortion. That's just me. I don't believe in it. And even people that, part of the people I'd mentored over the years, I'd told them, I'd encouraged them to say, you know what, no matter how this baby came, you can, it's a blessing, you can deal with it. And then I'm like, here I am now in my own situation, and this is what you're considering. And I think that's the only thing that held me back, because I'm like, I will never, ever have the confidence to open my mouth again. I know.
Someone, yeah.
So I kept it, I told my husband, but I was unhappy for most of that pregnancy. I just dragged myself through and all that. And I had my baby last year, and he's a fantastic little thing, as in he's just doing so much joy, And that's not the only part. I feel like I have all the things that I've achieved between June last year and now. I'm shocked that I could achieve so much with 4 children. If you had told me that I would even be able to achieve it with the 2 kids, I would have been surprised. But it was things that I had waited 10 years, or how many years to achieve. Like, okay, once my kids grow older, I will now be able to do this. I'm surprised that I'm able to do so much, even with 2 small kids and the 2 older ones. So I'm like, you know what? Life can bring you surprises, but you'll be shocked at what the determination within you can bring. I believe that God built us, that the human spirit is indomitable. You will get by, you will find a way. So I usually don't see challenges. I just see them as opportunities, to learn something new and to grow. Yeah. So
Absolutely, that's beautiful. So the last but not the least, have just 2 questions left for you.
yeah.
How do you create balance? How do you create balance between your work, your business, and your core responsibilities? When you say your core responsibility, talking about your attention to your family and every other thing that is aside from you. How do you create that balance practically as a woman with 4 kids?
Okay. What I do, first of all, you already said something. I don't sleep. I don't sleep now. I've recognized that, what, you're going to have to give up something for something. And I don't really buy into the mantra that you can have it all. And I'll explain myself. I believe maybe I don't understand what they're trying to say when they say you can have it all. But from my own point of view, you cannot be everything to everybody. You cannot do everything. You're not a superhero. You're not God. I think I heard a message by someone once who said, if you try to be El Shaddai, you shall die, or something. You can't. You're not a superhero. You have to recognize that something has to give. You can't be a top flying career woman, a top flying business woman, and a top notch mom, and a top notch everything, and a wife always dressed. You can't. You will die. So you have to recognize that some things need to be outsourced. So what do I do? I spoke with my husband and I said, you know what, I need help. So I have 2 house helps at the moment. I have one that goes and comes. She concentrates on housework and doing the cooking. And I have another younger one that stays, that takes care of the little kids, and that's why I'm able to be here. You can't hear kids running up and down. You understand? I've
Yeah.
locked myself in the room and I'm doing what I need to do. So I get help. That's basically it. I used to be afraid of asking for help because I needed to prove to myself that I can do. I'm super. I can do so many things, but I've lost that. Over the years, I've grown to know that, you know what, you need to ask for help. You can't do everything. Okay. If you need a driver, get a driver. If you need, whatever you need, ask, and choose your battles. You need to choose your battles. So I enjoy driving, for instance, but I've said, you know what, I can't be driving and be doing school runs and be doing my work so rather than do that, I will get somebody to drive me, and then so that while he's driving, I can chat on the phone, I can send, update, do some work, I can get some stuff done. So get help. If you can pay for help, pay for it. It will pay you off in the long run. Pay for the help you need. Get us and be close to your support system. Don't be an I can do it all. If you need your mom around, ask for it. If you need your mother-in-law around, ask for it. If you need your husband to do something, ask for it. Don't tell yourself that, I don't like asking. Ask and you shall receive. You understand? Ask. You're not a superhero. Choose your battles, get help, and understand the one thing I like to always talk about is that life is in seasons. Okay. So if you're a single mom, for instance, you may not be able to leave your job and chase your career because you need the steady income. If you are a mom with young children, you may need to put your career on hold so that your children can grow to a certain stage. Then you can go back into the career and build it. And I've seen people do it. Don't think that it's impossible. I've seen people do it. So you can actually say, you know what, I'm going to put my career on hold for 5 years when the younger one is 5, because the needs of a child in primary school are different from the needs of a child in secondary school and are different from the needs of a baby. So understand that life is in seasons. I'm a seasoned mom. I have 2 teenagers and 2 babies. The teenagers can help me with the babies. My challenges are different from the challenges of a new mom who is just starting out. Do you understand? And, so that's my advice on finding balance.
Wow, that's beautiful. When in my book, The Totality of the Complete Woman, I did mention about creating balance. And one of the things I said, which you also said, that is about snatching time, the concept of snatching time. So if not everyone will be open to getting help. Some people still feel very, very scared to let someone into their home. And in a place like you lived in London before, it's not, you can't, getting help is not that cheap. It's not cheap.
It's very expensive.
Very expensive. You're going to get help, you know that you're going to really pay a lot for you to get help. I don't think of say, oh, I'm going to get a driver. Well, you're joking with yourself.
Definitely.
So it doesn't really apply to everyone, but just like you mentioned, if you need help, be close to your support system. It's very, very key. I like what you said, that so everyone has a different support system. I have my own support system. You have your own support system. But one other key point that I mentioned in my book, which you also said as well, is the concept of snatching time, like I said. And you, after attending to every other person in your life that needs your attention, you have to give up some things. I talked about giving up pleasure in the book. I talked about giving up pleasure. You have to suffer a little bit, which we both discussed about how we don't get enough sleep. That we should. It's not like we now, stress ourselves to a point where we have to break down. I always say I've written for 19 hours 45 minutes. I don't know if anybody has done in Guinness Book of Records on my laptop, typing over 2 master's dissertation in one night. So, but I had to get it done at that day, and I put my energy. My back was hurting, my feet were hurting. But I knew that I needed to get it done at that time. So there are some things like you mentioned that you will not be able to achieve when you have little ones. And you said that people do suffer some certain losses or give up some pleasures just to make sure that they give that time for their kids to grow. Many people ask me, oh, Dr. Norma, how you do this? I have loads of ideas. In fact, I'm sure I can give business idea to all of Nigeria if you give me. But you can't. You can't really do everything. You have to pick your battles. You have to choose what you want to fight for, and create that path for yourself. I myself have lost a business because I had a baby. So I was doing I was on a coaching program, like trying to on a weight loss journey and all. Not that I wasn't like so much weighty, but I just wanted to be fit and keep my heart intact and everything. And I got pregnant, and I remember my coach saying to us in the class that if you do your exercise and you're fit, your hormones will be set right, you are going to get pregnant. Be careful. So she warns us. I said, don't get pregnant. Don't come to my class and say, Coach, I'm feeling ill. There's fever. They say I'm going to deal with you. So I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna. Me never. I'm not gonna join that gang. And in 2 months, in fact, I was pregnant. I didn't even know I was pregnant, and everything happened. I had a booming business. Then I had a salon. I was selling my own branded hair. I was fixing hair, doing everything. Business was going, and baby, I was about 5 months pregnant, and then they said, "Oh, sorry, when you do have your baby, they didn't say anything before the baby came, but when the baby was gonna come, they said, "Oh, sorry, we don't allow kids in the business area." And like, what are you saying? I can't afford a childminder at the moment, and like, no. That's in the contract. We can't allow. I had to let go of that business. I spent over 3 million to build. Like everything was gone. I moved all my hair products home. I even have some of my hair products still, like 2 bags of hair extensions from Nigeria for my supply. So I just keep using it. Once in a while, I get a client that says I want to make my hair. I just use that. But I had to go through that pain and sacrifice because of my son. But just like yourself, I was depressed for almost 2 months. But I said to myself, like, you're just down. As long as you're alive, there's a chance for you to crush your goals. And I really love what you said too about we having the right spirit. And when you have the right spirit in you, you have the ability to push forward. Your spirit will always find a way out of difficult situation. And I said to myself, what can I do that will move with me everywhere I go? If my husband gets up and say, I'm taking a career in Philippines or US or Canada, my business will go with me. That is when my travel agency was better. And the company is still growing really fast and going strong. And of all the businesses I've done, my travel company is still standing with me. So, like you said, challenges are opportunities for you to explore. It's not there to, keep you down, but you must set your heart. Okay, I think I've lost her. She's going to be back again. You must set your heart in the right frame of mind. You must be ready to work hard. You must be ready to push. Challenge will come, yeah, definitely, but you cannot give up, because there are people who, in the pandemic, they lost their lives. They didn't have the opportunity to see the light today. You do. You are awake. So keep learning. Keep adding knowledge to yourself. I spoke about knowledge yesterday when I put on my WhatsApp status. Knowledge is free. Knowledge is paid. So however knowledge comes to you, embrace it and learn something new. You may feel that, oh, I've heard this before. I heard that, but there's something definitely you've not heard. And expand on that. Spend your time doing research, because as a woman, like I said, the world is still evolving. We're still embracing. There are some countries where women are not allowed to work, women are not allowed to do anything. You might be in a country where you have the opportunity to work. Well, good for you. So why not take advantage of that opportunity and develop yourself? So the concept of balancing is more about snatching time. Okay, while you're cooking, you're reading a book, listening to an audio message, while you're driving, you're typing, just like if you said. So don't let time, go slip away from your hands without you being accountable. In the book, I made mention of an example with an alarm clock. If you've not bought the book, you can go and order a copy. I mentioned something about the alarm clock and a strategic timetable where you can use to monitor your time, how you spend your time, put yourself in check to make sure that you're not spending time unnecessarily, you're not becoming unproductive, right? So that is something that you must do. I was saying to my husband yesterday, it was just funny. I was like, if we as humans set our minds to do something productive, we can say, by this time I want to do this, by 10 o'clock I want to do that. You can actually fix your mind and decide to be productive. But there is just something that just holds you back. You just feel like, I just want to play a little. I just want to, if it's going to come up soon. Yeah, I think she's back. She's going to be back soon. So there's just something that just says, oh, I just want to relax a little. I just want to take a chill pill. I just feel lazy. It's normal. There are some days I wake up, I don't feel like doing anything, but I channel that feeling of laziness towards doing something. So if you scroll through my competitors page and check what are they doing, what can I learn from what they are doing, then I invest that time wisely. Okay, it's important that you know what you're doing. Like if you also mentioned, she said something about why she was in her career, planning for her career. She was already 30. Welcome back. She was already 30, and then she said that, oh, I don't want to stay in this job in the next 10 years. So you have to know how you spend your time as a woman. So if you're going to plan to have a baby, be sure about at what age you want to have your baby. You can't just say I'm going to have baby anytime. No, it has to be properly planned. You may not say I want to have baby right now and God will just give you baby. That's not what we're saying, but you need to be ready. Your mind needs to be ready, it needs to be set. I always say to my husband, I don't want to have baby when I start my career. I'm making all the sacrifices, but when I start my career, nobody can tell me put a break on it. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen, So you have to put things in motion, set things, get help, get support. All these things we are saying, ensure that you are practicing it. Okay. So what final advice would you have for women, those who are planning to transition, those who are career women, those who are business women? What final word would you have for them?
Okay. Just like I caught you saying as you were coming in, your life needs to be planned. I always like to tell people that, look at the future you want. Your future starts now. Okay. So if you want to be something when you're 70, it's not when you're 69 or 68 that you're going to start planning it. So if you want to do an exercise, take a book, write out your biography at 70. Let's say they were having a party or they were having an award ceremony for you at 70, and they were writing, everything you want them to speak about you, your bio, the exact way you want it to be there. Write it out now and then start working towards that. You understand? So if it's that, I want to be a renowned makeup artist, and you don't even know how to do makeup now, then start now. Do you understand? Whatever it is that you want, to be on your bio at 70 or 60 or 50 or whatever your next goal is, you need to start working towards it now. Now, you may not have everything you need to require, but start taking one step at a time. You want to do a course abroad. You may not have all the money you need, but first of all, call the school, find out, go research, and see if you can do any online courses that can take you a step closer. Do they have scholarships? Stuff like that. Start working towards it now. And if they don't have, start taking free courses. Go to Coursera, take free courses, one at a time, and, start working slowly towards that thing that you want to achieve.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. That is so amazing. That is a wonderful advice. We've said a lot today, ladies. I hope that you have learned from Efe and myself. Okay, so don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment. If you have any questions you like Efe to answer, please send me a direct message and I'll get your question across to her. Efe, thank you so much for coming on board. And we have another surprise coming up for you guys in August. So I'm not going to say anything yet. The flyer will be out in a few weeks, so stay tuned. Efe is going to be doing a training for over 100 women, and it's going to blow your mind. So stay connected to the page. If you're not following me on Instagram, please do so. Efe's name on Instagram is Efe Fagbeja, right? So go and follow her, okay, on Instagram, and also join the Complete Women Global Facebook group. We have a lot planned for you guys. Thank you, Efe. Thank you so much for honoring this invitation.
Thank you for having me.
Wonderful day ahead.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks for joining the Business Hot Seat today. If there is a career that you like to learn about, maybe someone who's in an industry that you would like to mentor you, send me their name, their maybe Instagram details, and I'll reach out to that person to get them interviewed on this show. Thank you so much. Do not forget that my next guest is coming up tomorrow, Saturday by 6 p.m. That is Jessica Duro. So I will see you tomorrow by 6 p.m. Share this video with your friends. Share with your male friends, female friends, share with everyone to make sure that they benefit from this as well. Don't forget to leave a comment about this session. It's important that when people come onto the video, they see what experience you had. So that is a thank you that you can give back to me and Efe. Just leave a comment on this video telling us what your experience was watching this interview. If you have any questions, like I said, send them directly to me and I'll get it across to Efe. I love you guys so much. Thank you for all your amazing support. Have a wonderful evening. Bye bye for now.